So, did y'all hear that Trump says he wants to abolish FEMA and the Department of Education and leave it up to the state?
Mm-hmm.
So basically, there's going to be some smart states and some dumb states. And then there's going to be some states that's still intact. And then there's going to be others that's
Devastated.
fucked up.
Right.
Because them hurricanes going
So-
biggity bounce their asshole.
And it's funny how it's funny how that's the red states that's going to be fucked up the most by this.
Yeah, so why he want to abolish FEMA? So what did FEMA do? All FEMA tries to do is help people during disasters.
Well,
You want to take FEMA's money and do a tax cut? That's why he wants to abolish it?
Well, they had a lot of misinformation going around that them idiots was saying, FEMA was giving money to immigrants and not giving money to American citizens.
Not true.
And all kinds of crazy shit like that. So, Rolling Stone had this powerful article about the dismantling of FEMA and what that would really mean for the United States. Rolling Stone reports misinformation about FEMA funding being sent to support migrants caught on in particular. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Since 2019, during Donald Trump's first term, Congress has additionally tasked the agency with reimbursing local and state governments for sheltering migrants. On social media and from the mouths of politicians, this was twisted to imply that the agency was supporting this population at the expense of disaster survivors in need. Several Republican members of Congress echoed this misinformation, despite the fact that the funding program in question was created under their watch, as did Donald Trump. So they caused the problem,
Right.
and then cried about the problem.
Yeah, but so
Which
first of all, nobody was
It's not a
taking
problem.
monies away from citizens to give to. If you're asking people to come into this country, or you're giving people work visas, migrant workers, those are the people that's keeping the food.
If they
rolling in the country.
undocumented.
I mean, nobody else is out there picking oranges and whatnot,
Nope.
Yeah, and y'all would want to do that
and they're
anyway.
not gonna do it.
And they proven that they're not going to do it.
So what
the
do they
thing-
want him to do? Just they want to just let these. Oh, you can't have any help at all. Is
But
that
the thing is,
what
if
they're
they
proposing?
undocumented, how is anybody getting the money to them if we don't know they here? If they undocumented,
This is
what
they
it
say.
was a reimbursement
Probably
for
to the
the
local
states
governments.
for putting them up.
Yeah,
If a hurricane or wildfire or whatever comes through and they need a place to stay, then they were reimbursing the states for what the states spent.
yeah,
It wasn't giving money
yep.
at
It
the
didn't go
expense
to-
of citizens.
when the Republicans say stuff like this, people probably think, "Oh, it's going to the individual people." It's like, here's a check. No, motherfuckers.
No.
The money ain't going nowhere near them. It's going to the state governments. It's going to the cities that house them.
Yep.
I mean, y'all sure didn't mind spending money on the migrants, so y'all was busing them and flying them to Martha's Vineyard
Nah.
and shit.
Nah. So Rolling Stone goes on to say, for the first official trip of his second term, Donald Trump went to North Carolina in late January to survey the ongoing recovery efforts. While there, he re-upped his criticisms of the agency, this time floating fundamentally reforming or overhauling FEMA, or maybe getting rid of FEMA. Since then, members of his administration have frozen FEMA funds and programs, fired more than 200 FEMA employees, and rescinded grant money the agency had approved and allocated to New York City, actions that have placed FEMA in the epicenter of debates and legal cases over federal spending and executive authority over agencies.
So I think that's a combination of him being petty and retaliatory, as well as them just trying to kill federal agencies, which is what he's done basically for the first 100 days that he's been in office. It's just like you taking a meat cleaver to the underpinnings of the federal government.
Yeah.
And once you do that, you just all it's going to do is weaken us as a country.
Yes.
And so goes the United States. So goes the rest of the world.
So he went on and as a plug, you guys, if y'all want to hear about what would happen if the United States fell and what would happen across the world, tune into Pragmotiv Plus. You can subscribe at pragmotivplus.com. That's what we're going to be talking about on today's episode. So getting back to what we're talking about now, the thing that's crazy to me is he wants to say, well, it'll be better run if the states do it because it's local and the states know their people better and know what they need better.
It's already bottom up from the states.
Exactly.
Nothing gets declared. You don't get federal government assets, resources, unless your governor asks for it.
Exactly. And here it's the parish, which is the county, everywhere else in the country. So your parish has to ask for it, or your county asks for it, and then your governor, and then it gets to the president, which is how it should be. But you're talking about taking federal funding from FEMA. So when the hurricanes come, you're not going to get anything. And I already
because
think
the
that
states
FEMA
cannot
isn't
handle
giving
that.
enough to people, but that's another
Just
conversation.
look at what he doing to old Crooked Eye. Sarah Huckabee Sanders in Arkansas.
Cyclops Eye.
She been asking for help,
She has been asking for help.
and he told her no.
And he said no. Now, I know that she said she was going to appeal. I'm like, okay, fucking
So
FAFO.
what was his reason for saying no?
I don't really know. I didn't really
So
delve
you done
into
kissed
it.
his ass. You were his White House
Press
press
secretary.
secretary.
Yes.
And
you
now
got hit
you the
by
governor
whole
of a
bunch
state.
of tornadoes.
Right. And he said, fuck you.
Yeah. And it ain't
So
even
that's
his
how you
money.
learn.
That's the difference.
It's not even his money. He act like it's coming out of his pocket.
California
Well, he
might
think it is because he think he's the king.
California can fare without federal help because they put more in
Right.
than they take.
And I bet
But Arkansas don't put shit in; they just take. Same with Mississippi. Same with Louisiana.
Yes.
And
So speaking of that, I'm glad you said that. I took the liberty to do some research because it was interesting to me because Governor Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, has been in the news lately talking about how much California gives to the federal government and how they don't get anything in return, basically, compared to the other states. So I said, since most people might not know, the state government, local government, all of these budgets are public information. So you can go find it to see what your local governments are spending. So I went to go see, I picked a few states, popular states across the country to see, what their budgets was. And California, $468 billion in annual revenue. 28% is from the federal government. Texas, $207 billion in annual revenue. 38% is from the federal government. So a whole 10% more, which is crazy to me because Texas and California is kind of rivaling each other when it comes to population.
yeah.
Texas has more land to be, to develop and spark industry. And that's what I think a lot of people want right now. Like if you are in your late 20s, early 30s, and you're looking to buy a house, most of us would want probably a new house in a nice new neighborhood. And places like Texas offer that, whereas in California, the house would cost like
Who knows?
probably three
Millions
times
of
as much, and it wouldn't be as big,
probably 10 million.
and you wouldn't have no backyard. So the bang for your buck goes further in Texas. So because of that, I would say they have a better case for development. So why aren't you getting the tax revenue from that?
Yeah.
Why are you relying on the federal government 10% more than California? So then we go on to New York. New York, $259 billion in annual revenue, 38% from the Feds. So just like Texas.
Texas.
And then Florida, $135 billion in annual revenue, 40% from the Feds. And then Louisiana.
Should we hide our faces?
$40 billion in annual revenue. We ain't even cracking 100. 50% from the federal government.
Thank you, Wish.com, King Candy.
What?
Oh
That
my
went
God.
over my head.
You go.
Oh, you gotta see Wreck-It Ralph. You gotta see.
You gonna get in trouble like Jasmine Crockett did.
Oh, fuck them.
Hot Wheels.
Oh, we gonna talk about that later. Oh, did we talk about that? I don't remember.
So-
we talked about that in the last episode. I'm gonna say it again. I
So
still
if
call
they
it
left
bitch
it
Wheels,
up-
and I will call him Wheels. I don't care.
If they left it up to the states, these states that you just mentioned,
Yes. So y'all look at this map on the screen. The darker the state, the more it relies on federal government. The lighter the state, the more money it gives to the federal government. So I want to ask y'all, do y'all think if next month your budget had to be cut by 28
38.
to 38, no, 28 to 50%,
Yeah.
can you survive without changing your lifestyle?
Nope. And fun fact, you see this map here? Look at Kansas. Kansas is a state that routinely votes for Donald Trump or the Republicans in general on the federal level. And look at them. Look how light they are. They don't take a lot from the federal government. In fact, they give. But guess who's the governor of Kansas? A Democrat.
Nah.
Now, ain't that a bitch?
One thing that just popped into my mind that I would wonder, and I wish I could delve into it deep, but it would take so much time, is I wonder if Louisiana is the most reliant on the federal government. Like, are they factoring in federal aid from disasters? I wonder if that plays a part in it.
I don't know.
But then
I don't
again,
know.
California with the wildfires
Yeah.
Right.
should
So
be right
that's
up
not,
there.
yeah.
So,
And Texas gets hit by hurricanes, and
yeah.
so no, it's not that. They just Louisiana, and it's a whole ball of wax that we could talk about with
Yep.
Louisiana. With
Maybe
them
if
having,
you stop handicapping your biggest city.
or maybe if you would ask some of these corporations to chip in more and
Yeah, these oil
restructure your
companies, we don't-
whatever it is that makes corporations, like Texas gets more out of the corporations that's located there, especially like the oil companies and the chemical
I
companies.
think it has to do with their property taxes that they pay. And I think here you get discounts.
Yeah.
yeah,
there
they,
you don't.
they just give so much incentive, and you're not. It's not fair. It's like the identical size plant in Texas to Louisiana. It pays way more to the state of Texas than the same company, ExxonMobil, running the same similar plant.
Whoever negotiated that. Negotiated their draws away.
Yeah, Louisiana just you balancing everything on the back of your citizens when you should be making the corporations again pay their fair share.
Yes.
You're making all this money. These
they-
obscene
they don't-
profits
they wanna-
every quarter.
They
being
want to tell
welfare.
people what they can and can't buy with their food stamps, but yet they don't mind giving these blank checks of corporate
that was
welfare.
something I read yesterday about how the governor here is saying you can't buy. I think it was
Soft
Candy and
soft
soda.
drinks and candy. Like really? So now parents can't get candy for their kids? Like I guarantee.
So no
you,
Easter,
I
no
promise
Halloween.
you, nobody was spending even, I don't know, 10% of their fucking food stamps on candy.
No.
So you're just making them not be
You
able
don't really
to
care about those children's
No,
well-being.
They don't care.
Don't
They
care.
they care about when they in the moon, but once they out, they don't give a shit.
And that's a problem. Big problem. So, yeah, I would just say, I guess this answers the question of the show right here in block 1. No, you can't just leave it
Leave
up
it
to
up
the
to the
states.
states. No.
They don't have enough motherfucking money.
It all goes back to money.
Bye.